Before Rome became an empire of emperors and marble, it stood on the edge of annihilation. Not from within, without. Not by the hand of a barbarian tribe, by one man, Hannibal Barca, the scourge of Italy. He crossed the Alps with elephants, burned Roman fields, annihilated Roman legions, and stood as a living nightmare at the gates of the eternal city. Yet in the ashes of Rome's despair, a young commander rose. His name was Publius Cornelius Scipio. History would not remember him by that name. It would remember him as Africanus, the man who shattered Hannibal and ensured Rome's survival. Scipio Africanus is not just a general in Roman memory. He is a legend. The Romans often called him the Roman Alexander, conqueror chosen by destiny, who seemed blessed by the gods themselves. He was tall, striking, and carried himself not as a mortal commander, but as a figure of myth. Some whispered that he spoke with Jupiter in his dreams. Others believed no blade could strike him down, that Fortuna herself walked at his side. Yet, his greatness was not in divine favor alone. It was in understanding his enemy. Where Rome had stumbled again and again, Scipio watched, studied, adapted, and when the time came, he outplayed the greatest tactician Rome ever faced. Scipio was born in 236 BC into the noble Cornelii family, a household soaked in Roman tradition and military service. His father, also named Publius, had commanded against Hannibal during the early stages of the Second Punic War. But fate was cruel. Hannibal crushed Roman armies at Trebia, Lake Trasimene, and then Cannae, where tens of thousands of Romans were slaughtered in a single afternoon. Scipio, only 17 years old at the time, was present. He saw the massacre with his own eyes. Imagine standing amid a sea of corpses, 80,000 Romans dead or dying, the stench of blood heavy in the summer air, the sound of crows already circling. In that nightmare, Scipio made a vow. He swore before the gods and before his surviving comrades that he would never abandon Rome, that he would rise to one day end Hannibal's terror. This oath would shape his entire life. The Rome of Scipio's youth was desperate. Cities defected to Carthage. Allies wavered. The Senate trembled at every rumor of Hannibal's movements. But Scipio did not tremble. He sharpened himself in Spain, a land of iron and fire. Sent as a young commander to Iberia after his father and uncle were killed in battle, Scipio arrived not as a boy, but as a man with destiny burning in his chest. In Spain, he began forging his reputation. He captured New Carthage with a daring amphibious assault, storming the city from the sea when defenders least expected it. He treated prisoners with fairness, earning loyalty instead of fear. He adapted Roman discipline with Iberian ferocity. Every victory forged him, hardened him, made him into the weapon Rome desperately needed. The true test came in 202 BC on the North African plains outside the city of Zama. Scipio and Hannibal, two titans of strategy, finally faced each other. It was not just a clash of armies, it was a duel of minds. Hannibal unleashed his war elephants, the beasts Rome had feared since Trebia. Scipio had studied them. He ordered deliberate gaps in his lines, corridors through which the elephants could charge harmlessly. Trumpets blared, soldiers shouted, the beasts panicked, veering away or trampling their own Carthaginian ranks.
Then came the infantry clash. Hannibal's veterans pressed hard, but Scipio's manipular legions held firm, their shields locking, their short swords stabbing relentlessly. Finally, Scipio unleashed his cavalry, commanded by his ally Massinissa of Numidia. The horsemen swept around Hannibal's flank, slamming into the rear of Carthage's army. Surrounded, exhausted, and broken, Carthaginians collapsed. Hannibal had never been defeated in a pitched battle until that day. But what makes Scipio's victory legendary is not only the tactics, it is the humanity behind them. After the battle, Hannibal himself approached Scipio. Imagine the scene. Grizzled Carthaginian, scarred by decades of war, standing before the youthful Roman who had outmatched him. Hannibal admitted the truth. Scipio was the greater general. And Scipio, rather than mocking his enemy, honored him. He granted lenient peace terms to Carthage, showing magnanimity rather than cruelty. Scipio understood that Rome's greatness did not come from slaughter alone. It came from knowing when to show mercy. Rome is often unkind to its heroes. Scipio's enemies in the Senate grew jealous of his fame, suspicious of his independence, fearful of his popularity. Despite saving Rome from destruction, he was accused of corruption, dragged into trials, and forced into exile. In bitterness, Scipio withdrew from public life, refusing even to be buried in Rome. On his tomb in Laternum he had these words inscribed: "Ungrateful fatherland, you shall not even have my bones." A man who had defeated Hannibal, who had saved Rome from death, died far from the city he loved. Yet, Scipio never truly died. His strategies live on in military academies. His mercy is remembered as rare wisdom in an age of blood. His vision, to strike at the heart of the enemy rather than fight hopeless battles at home, echoes in countless wars since, proved that even in the darkest hour, one mind, one will, could turn the tide of history. His question lingers across time. What is the price of saving your homeland? Your homeland cannot save you in return. Scipio Africanus, boy who swore an oath among corpses, man who outwitted Hannibal, savior Rome cast aside. If this forgotten hero moved you, imagine what awaits as we uncover the other giants of Rome's past. Like, share, and subscribe, that the men who carved history with steel and fire never forgotten.